Welcome to Twig, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show that tackles everything from Nintendo to more Nintendo, with probably some Nintendo games in between. I am Nerd Pastor Nate. I'm really the pastor of Checkpoint Church, a real-life church designed with nerds, geeks, and gamers in mind on the internet. If you are listening on the podcast version of the show, be sure to give us a good review. Click that like if you're over on YouTube, or come and listen live on twitch.tv or YouTube every Tuesday night, or every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be starting this one as we always do with our What Have You Been Watching, Playing, and Reading. So feel free to drop in the chat or in the comment section if you're watching later. What have you been watching? What have you been playing? What have you been reading over the past weekend? And I'm going to let our guest for today introduce themselves and tell us what they have been watching, playing, and reading. Take it away.
Well, my name is DDC, and I'm a fellow member of Checkpoint Church. Recently, I watched Paprika, which is an interesting film. Apparently, it's inspired Inception, which that was interesting to know. Uh, I finished up watching Sakamoto Days.
Nice.
Uh, watched the season 3 of Mob Psycho 100. Just started up watching the new Devil May Cry anime today.
Very nice. I haven't
And,
gotten to start it yet.
I'm already halfway through.
Oh, wow. I can't wait.
I've been enjoying it. As for someone who's new to this, it's very enjoyable. I don't know how those who are familiar with the series are gonna feel it though.
Hmm.
It'll be interesting to see other people's reviews.
Yeah. I feel like Devil May Cry is old enough and like niche enough to not have too deep of a fan base. Like, honestly, it kind of reminds me of the Yakuza series, which didn't do very well, right? So maybe that's
So
the
the
risk
same,
with
it
this
was
one.
I enjoyed it.
I never watched it, never picked it up, but I just remember that a lot of folks were upset about this one, whereas I think this one is getting a little bit above to middling results.
And then of course I've been watching series on YouTube.
Very nice.
Playing more Metaphor and then reading the Luke X study.
Very good. Yeah, I'm very curious about a lot of those shows. I've got a lot of shows to catch up on. I have been finally catching up on my anime. So I went through a season with a lot of Let's Plays, and admittedly, I'm still watching some of them. But I finally have had a little bit of time in playing a podcast game. I've been playing Moonstone Island, and so that has allowed me to watch a lot of things in the background. So I've cleared through Ascendance of a Bookworm. I am on my way through
Nice.
The Elusive Samurai. I did catch up to the English dubbing of Dragon Ball Daima. So just binging through some anime. Looking forward to hopefully getting started with some of the new ones coming up this week in the season as we get into Anime April. And I did watch a movie, which is very fun. Watched Heretic. That is the Hugh Grant and Sophie Thatcher psychological thriller revolving around religion and two Mormon girls that get kidnapped by this creepy man. Hugh Grant plays a fantastic villain. He is so good. I enjoyed the movie on all bouts. I thought it was just a lot of fun. I think if you take it too seriously, then you probably won't enjoy it, especially if you come at it expecting anything more than just kind of like pretty stereotypical, like day one atheist arguments. They're not necessarily the deepest things. So, go into it with a grain of salt. But what was funny is, people that have watched the show, that have been in touch with Checkpoint for a while, know that I'm obsessed with two game developers in particular, one of which is Uchikoshi, who makes the Zero Escape series, as well as the Eye of the Somnium Files, just tons of different series like that. And a lot of this movie is based around like escape rooms. So I already had in my
Ooh.
head like escape rooms, but then randomly throughout this, they keep mentioning, like, have you heard of the blah, blah, blah of the blah, blah, blah of 1967? Like, which is such an Uchikoshi coded thing where they'll just be like, did you hear about espers? Like it's the exact same kind of vibe. And I swear, I want to look these writers up that wrote the screenplay for Heretic and just see. Because they got to be like around my age, maybe a little older, and they experience Zero Escape. Because the writing is just like, it's right there. It's right there. But yeah, very fun. A fun flick, a very good one to watch. I honestly wanted to play the game of it. I wanted to play Uchikoshi's version of it. Speaking of playing, I've been playing through Moonstone Island, as I already mentioned. I think I'm done. I feel like I'm probably done. I've gotten to that point that I get to in almost every farming sim where I'm like, this is getting to be a grind, kind of over it. I did get married today. That was very exciting. So
Yay!
officially have gotten married in Moonstone Island. So wherever my Pharaoh waifu out there people are, that's a good time. And I've explored a good chunk of the islands and caught over half of the Moonstone monsters. So we are, feeling pretty good about it. I've also been playing Everhood for the past couple of days with our pilgrimage and reading through Will of the Many, which is really fun. I have to admit, I was very skeptical and worried about it whenever I saw how thick of a boy it was, but it does read pretty quick. And then also reading that one of my Manga Spice Cafe manga, Ruri Dragon, which is about a girl who becomes a dragon. Which kind of reminds me of a book that we read for book club not too long ago about girls becoming dragons. This one takes it a little bit more like tongue-in-cheek and a little bit less intense, but similar vibes. Yes, thank you for the congratulations there, Lizzie, and also from DGC. Lizzie has been watching Dropout and streams, reading God Didn't Make Us to Hate Us, very nice, and then playing nothing really. All good. We certainly have times where we might be doing more or less of any of these things in particular, so whatever works for folks, whatever you get into. What was that, did you see?
I said true.
Right. Yeah,
Life
some days,
can
I'm
just
telling you,
be
I've not been
busy.
watching things for months. All right. Well, let's get into some of the trending headlines from the past week, starting with our first one, which came from a very unlikely source. Some of you may remember last week that Nintendo unveiled a new app called Nintendo Today during its latest Direct presentation. Not the Switch 2 Direct, but the Swan Song, positioning it as the hub for major company announcements, a daily announcement app. Just a day after the app launched, the app delivered very big news about the international release date for the live-action Legends of Zelda movie for March 26th, 2027. It's going to be directed by Wes Ball, the director of The Maze Runner, produced by Avi Arad from Spider-Man 2, and distributed by Sony Pictures. The film remains in very early development. Nintendo appears eager to mirror the massive success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which earned over $1.3 billion worldwide in 2023. And if you want the Nintendo Today app, because clearly they are taking it very seriously, it is now available on both the App Store and Google Play. This was big news, DGC, and it really, I didn't know how seriously they were going to take this Today app, but clearly
Neither did I.
they're not playing any games. Yeah, this was big news. And I know we've heard about this forever. Like the joke has always been, like the April Fool's Day joke, honestly, has always been like Legend of Zelda movie announced, but this was legit and a couple of days before.
Thank goodness it was.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear more information. I'm wondering if it'll be like the Mario Brothers movie where they'll do like their own Legend of Zelda Direct, like they did with the Super Mario Brothers Direct.
I could see that maybe.
Yeah.
Because they've gone like pretty experimental with their directs. They've been doing different stuff, like the Museum Direct and the Mario movie Direct. So it's possible that they could do something like this, or they just drop it in Nintendo Today.
Who could say? Nintendo be Nintendo, and we can never figure out exactly what they're going to do. And that's a part of the joy, the whimsy of it all.
Yes.
I am excited to hear some casting announcements. That would be a real reason to do a direct that would just thrill me, because I will never forget. I will never forget that direct for as long as I live. I still quote it. In particular, my one quote is Miyamoto and his person that is dubbing him and is saying like, Mario is going to be Chris Pratt. He's so cool. It's so good. He's so cool. It's just it's like the most cringe inducing thing. And it brings me so much joy. Not only because that was like the time where the onslaught of Pratt began, but oh boy, he's so cool. It's good times. All right. Well, that is the Legend of Zelda news. Not much more to say about that one other than the fact that we got a date, which is a big deal. And we'll see where the news takes us from this point on. In less
also
exciting
coming
news,
out a week. It's also coming out a week after Sonic 4.
Right. Yeah. Very, very interesting. And I'm curious about the director. I never watched The Maze Runner, so I'm not super familiar.
I have.
Yeah, maybe it's good. No clue. Like, I think that who did Mario? Who was the directors? Was it Lloyd and Miller? Did the Lego Movie guys do it? Lord and Miller?
Not sure.
I can't remember either. I want to say that was who it was, but maybe I thought they were attached to it at some point. But maybe it'll be wonderful. It sounds like if it's being directed by the Maze Runner guy, it's going to be a little bit more like gritty and serious of a tone as compared to like a goofy cartoon Fun Times. But then there's also been rumor mills of like a Smash Brothers movie eventually happening with Sonic. So maybe they'll still keep it pretty cartoony, but the world will see what they end up doing with it and how they end up taking it. I guess it's going to be live action, so I can't imagine them importing live action Link into the Smash Brothers universe. Strange times ahead. But I maintain my same stance with video game movies as I do with superhero movies. If it's on the silver screen, I'm going to go see it. I'm just excited that they're being made at all. I don't care how garbo they are. I just want to experience them. And so I alone will watch them and enjoy them, if nothing else. Something I will not enjoy quite as much is the newest trend of ChatGPT updating its image generation, and there has been a new wave of AI-generated image mimicking Studio Ghibli's iconic style. This has sparked a major backlash online following a demo from OpenAI's latest image tool. Critics, including Zelda Williams and Red Dead Redemption's Roger Clark, argue the trend disrespects the hand-drawn artistry Ghibli is known for, calling it lazy and unethical. This also resurfaced comments from the co-founder Hayao Miyazaki, who describes AI-generated art as, quote, an insult to life itself. While OpenAI claims to avoid copying living artist style, the controversy highlights growing concerns over AI's role in creative industries already hit hard by layoffs and artistic uncertainty. It's been a weird season. It's been a weird time. I am very much involved in the AI conversation. I'm typically the more negative voice, but I try to maintain a serious role in the space nonetheless, rather than just kind of eschewing them and like pushing them away. I try to be in the AI and ministry spaces so that I can push back and kind of say, maybe we need to pause, slow down, and be more ethical. By and large, my stance is that I'm against AI image generation. I think that for the most part, generative AI is just harmful, and that I think that AI in and of itself is much better served as a tool to create more productivity or to do the more mundane office-oriented tasks or even ideation and brainstorming. But it's where I really draw the line for myself is with any kind of generated imagery, especially just straight up generated imagery. Like this, they just took the meme, right? The classic meme of the person looking back, and they turned it into that. It's not anything, there's nothing, they didn't do anything with it. They made something that already existed into another format, whereas they didn't take it and then move it into a new like world. They didn't add on to it. There's nothing additive to this experience. It's straight up just something that already existed that somebody with an artistic hand could have done, and then they just posted it online. Like there's no creative spark in it, even in the act of having the idea to do it in the first place. Do you have any thoughts on this one, DGC?
I'm honestly in the same mindset where AI, yes, should be used as a tool. It's a very, very tricky situation with this.
It is. And I'm also fully aware, like, I think we have to be real and honest with ourselves and acknowledge that like people are going to do this. And so it's not like if we just get mad enough or if we say enough that it's going to stop anything, but instead that's why I'm like involved and invested in the space to be a dissenting voice in the midst of them so that I have some say, so that I have some kind of clout, I guess, in the space. I have some kind of sway in the room. Like there's been a thing that's been going on this week as well with everybody making themselves into an action figure. And if I see one more post up on my Facebook feed, I might block that person because I cannot handle it anymore. But I'm at least in the space where they feel comfortable posting 10 million of those boring, lazy AI things. So I'm in it enough. There was a really good argument that I heard from a TikToker. I think I saved it, but I don't have it to share. Maybe I'll try to remember to share it in my newsletter this Saturday. But it was a really good argument about the real crux of the issue is not only the ethics of the thievery, behind like original art pieces and styles. But their argument was that the way that new masterpieces are created is through the act of bad iteration. And so, like, whenever you think about, even like you can look at Ghibli, right here and like what they tried to do with it. Like, this is pretty clearly, like Miyazaki was probably inspired by Lupin the Third, right? So, like, because Miyazaki was a bad attempt at a Lupin style, he created something that has overtaken that kind of classic art style. And then the person that copied it might have copied something else that copied something else. And the next thing you know, we got Frieren, right? Which is gorgeous, but it's an iteration of an iteration of an iteration. And so art in and of itself is finding a style, trying to be it, and then not being able to be it and creating a new style. And I think we see that in a lot of things in creative works. I think we see it in music. You can follow the line of music throughout time and find like where everything kind of goes back to jazz or blues, right? Like we have these trends of soul music that have gone back throughout generations and are all iterations upon iterations of people doing it badly to the point that it becomes good and becomes something greater than its original parts. And I thought that was a really strong argument for why this down here will never work, because it's nipping in the bud bad recreation, which leads to new opportunity. And I found that really compelling. So I don't know if anybody else is compelled by that or like heart strangely warmed by that, but that was something that I needed to hear in the midst of like all of the ethical concerns. It is not only an ethical concern legalistically, but it's an ethical concern creatively. It bankrupts us of the opportunity to copy things badly. Okay, let's get into our next one, which is more bad news. We've got a double whammy for you tonight. My Anime List, one of the largest anime and manga database sites, has been sold by Media Do Holdings to Tokyo-based Web3 and AI company Gaudi. Gaudi, known for its blockchain-based fan platform FanLink, aims to create fan nations where communities can connect using emerging tech like NFTs. How is that still emerging? And generative AI. Media Do expects a financial gain of around $3.5 million from the sale. My Anime List has seen steady partnerships and expansions since its launch in 2005. Most recently joining forces with NTT Docomo and others for the U.S. digital manga service Manga Mirai, which will continue to be supported through its platform. Yeah, I don't have as much to say about this one because there's no like creative stance. I just can't believe that we're still having a conversation about NFTs in 2025. I will say I don't use my Anime List. I almost signed up for it, but I accidentally signed up for Analyst instead. And so I have like, everybody's always on my Anime List and I'm not. And I think I'm glad that I wasn't. I do think that $3.5 million is not a very high sale. But I mean, granted, it's just one website, right? But that feels, maybe I'm inundated by all of the high numbers that I see all of the time from everything in video gaming. And that is clouding my judgment. Any thoughts on this one from you, DGC?
Not really. I mean, I tried using my Anime List at one point, but it's been years. And I just like my own list on like my notes just to keep track. That's what I've been doing this year.
Yeah, that's all I really need is a tracker. Like, I don't really care about the like community element because I already get that from like our server or conversations in various spaces that I already have. So I don't necessarily need like the community hub. You know, I don't need to trade NFTs with people while I'm watching my anime.
Mm-hmm.
So intriguing stuff. A bit of a, like I said, a double whammy of AI art followed by somehow in NFTs still being a thing. But we'll get into some different news after this that will be a little bit more exciting, a little bit more encouraging, unless you're too worried about the pocketbook during the Nintendo season. But before we get to Nintendo, we are going to take a look at not everybody's favorite segment, but the segment that still needs a theme song that, of course, is legally distinct. The start of something new. Okay, we're going to get right into the games that are coming to subscription services this month. We've got PlayStation and Xbox. DGC, would you like to take one or the other, or?
Uh, it doesn't really matter. Either's fine.
All right, you go ahead and start us off with the PlayStation games. We got 3.
All right. So, releasing on PlayStation this month, we have RoboCop, Rogue City, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh, I'm sorry. We have RoboCop, Rogue City, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
There you go. I'm very excited about Digimon Story. I already have it, but I'm excited for more people to play it. It is a good one. I enjoyed the Digimon Story games a whole lot. Even if it does have 3 titles, it is what it is. Coming to Xbox this month, we have quite a few new and exciting things, some of which I'll point out for those that are the puzzly like me. Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition is coming on April 3rd. All You Need Is Help is also dropping on April 3rd. Still Wakes the Deep, April 3rd. Wargroove 2, for those of you that may have missed that Fire Emblem-like, is coming to console on April 3rd. Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Ultimate Evil Edition is arriving on April 8th. Also, April 8th is South of Midnight, the eagerly anticipated by me at least, kind of New Orleans style, bayou style creature game that's doing pretty well. So I'm excited. I'm very, very much looking forward to playing this one and fully intend on putting it on my list. Commandos Origins is coming on April 9th. One game to keep on your list that everyone that I follow is saying is their potential contender for like game of the year in regards to the it's not bougie is not the words that I want to use, but maybe the more like analytical, the people that like oh gosh, what's the name of the game? Golden Idol. My Golden Idol people say this is their game of the year. So if you enjoyed Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, which granted I didn't, but if you enjoyed Lorelei and the Laser Eyes or Golden Idol last year, April 10th, a game called Blue Prince. And that's not like fingerprints, that is Prince like the singer. Blue Prince, April 10th. And that's the best I can think of. That is coming to everything on April 10th, and I am very, very excited about it. I know nothing except for the fact that everyone that I like respect in a journalistic integrity point of view loves this game. So very eager. And then Hunt Showdown 1896 is arriving on April 15th. That's it. Any of those grab your attention, DGC?
I am curious about South of Midnight. I am glad to know that it is doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'll take it. I was real worried about it because it felt like it took a long time to come out, and they just kept like talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and I was very anxious. So I'm glad to know that it's gonna do pretty good, and I will definitely be playing it, or at least watching a playthrough of it, which I've seen some have already dropped Let's Plays, so it's coming. All right. Well, do let us know if you plan on picking up any of those subscriptions or any of those games on those subscriptions. I know for me, I continue to think the Game Pass is still just the coolest thing since sliced bread. I enjoy it and enjoy using it pretty routinely for my games. But before we get into our main segment, we're going to take a quick ad read. The ad for tonight. Adventurers, it is time to pack your bags. April's checkbox is live for a few days longer, closing very, very soon. This month's theme is no fast travel allowed because some journeys aren't about shortcuts. They're about endurance, patience, and embracing the long road ahead. This box is going to be packed with nerdy surprises designed to help you stay the course, level up your perseverance, and enjoy the adventure along the way. That's not all. Starting this quarter, 10% of all checkbox earnings are going to be going to charity. This time, we're going to be supporting California wildfire trauma relief, helping communities recover from devastating wildfires over to the west. So if you are ready to gear up for the long haul and make a difference, sign up now at bit.ly/mana-mingle. bit.ly/mana-mingle, or if you're on Twitch, !mana, or if you're on our Discord, !mana, you can find it any of those places, and I'll make sure that it gets linked down below as well. Okay, with that and without further ado, let's talk about the Direct. DGC, what'd you think? What were the highlights for you right away? What was the things that you wanted to bring up about this Direct? I thought it was fantastic.
GameCube coming to NSO, obviously.
Yeah, we got the
Oh
GameCube
my,
coming to Nintendo Switch Online with several games that I'm super excited about, namely Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, which I have never played before.
yes. Ah, my goodness, the lineup was incredible for that. We got Wind Waker, Path of Radiance, Mario Sunshine, Luigi's Mansion, the the both Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, and Colosseum,
Yep. It's a big
which
deal. And then,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
I know
very
you started with
excited.
Wind Waker. I can't remember, but Wind Waker, that's a very exciting one. Yeah. Soul Calibur 2, weirdly enough,
And
is one they chose to
oh my
include,
goodness,
which is
yes,
fun. I always saw
that's a
that
game I
one
have
on the
my
like
fond memories
shelf.
of.
Saw that one on the shelf at the like GameStop or whatever, and I would always be like, that's interesting that Link's in that, but like, what do I actually want that? I don't know. But I'm super excited
And
for a
it's
wireless
actually not
GameCube
the first
controller.
time.
Go ahead.
It's it's not the first time they've actually added in like characters from like other series. Like in the later ones, they added like Star Wars characters.
Yep. I'm very excited, if not for anything other than nostalgia alone. I got the N64
Hmm.
Wii like Switch controller, so I will be getting the GameCube one as well, even if I never use it, because I don't think I maybe used this one like 3 times before in its existence. I haven't really needed to play a N64 game in a while, but it's cool to have, and I think it's just neat to see like a mint condition 64 controller. So having a GameCube one is also going to be very exciting.
It also reminds me of like the Wave Bird
Yeah,
because they said it was going to be wireless.
100%. Yeah. And this one is wireless as well and feels nice and plays well and does like all the buttons feel very tactile and good. And it's exciting stuff. Yeah, that was a big highlight for me as well. I'm super, super on board. I still need to play through the Metroid Prime games that are on one of them. I don't think it's on any of the
Uh,
online things. It's got its own like reboot.
yeah, that's the only game that is on Switch from the three Metroids is the reboot of one. But I
Yep.
imagine that at some point, wait, I can't remember if Prime 2 came on GameCube though.
I
It
really don't
might.
remember. I have no connection with any of them, so I have no real clue. But it is a big deal, big news, big exciting news. We also got a good look at some other like games that were coming to the console. A lot of them are the ones you'd kind of predict. Kind of like the PlayStation 5 did whenever they released. It upgraded a bunch of PS4 games. So, in a very similar vein, Switch to Switch 2 is going to be doing very similar things. A lot of the games are games that already exist that are just getting a nice like bit of polish added on top. Some of them are getting some DLC added in, like you have a Kirby Forgotten Worlds or Forgotten Land or whatever it's called. That one's going to be getting like a new DLC. But a lot of the games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are just going to be getting remastered versions, and they will be for an upcharge, but they haven't said how much. PlayStation did $10, so I'm anticipating that Nintendo will do around that amount as well. But it really, you never really know with Nintendo what they're actually going to do. But those were a lot of the older ones that were announced as revamps. We also got a more Mario Party, which I thought was interesting. They wanted to add on to Mario Party Jamboree, which kind of feels like a game that I feel like not many people often talk about anymore, but sure, why not? They gave more. And of course, the reason that they needed to give more is because they also showed us the hardware. And so they had a pretty good reason to revamp Mario Party in particular, because in addition to the new console and just the new look, the new vibe, a larger screen, a second USB-C port, like all of that. In addition to all of that, we also learned that the Joy-Con are now going to be computer mice. They're going to be able to serve the same purpose as a mouse. They'll have a trackpad kind of technology where you can move them around just like a mouse. And it's both. So you can have potentially 2 mice going at once. So of course, that just makes so much sense for Mario Party to take advantage of that particular mechanic that the game console itself can now offer. We also learned why the second port exists on top of the screen is because they are theoretically going to be investing in a lot more accessorizing technology. The first one that they've announced is going to be the webcam. They're going to have a webcam that can now plug in to the top of your console and will allow you to be able to film yourself, which is necessary for the other new thing that they announced, which is they've made their own Discord. They essentially have their own Zoom call Discord technology called Game Chat. which is what the mysterious C button on the Joy-Con to the right stands for, is chat, I guess. And so you can now chat with up to 4 friends. I think it may be more, but I think it's just 4 at a time, and play games together. And you can all be playing different games, or you can play the same game. You can see what they're doing on their screen in about like 2 FPS. So if you want to watch them in like a 280 screen at 2 FPS, then you can do that. But it is definitely it looks pretty silly how much it was chugging on the commercial. You would think they would at least like polish it up a little bit, play your least intensive games or something, but they didn't. And it is what it is. They'll do what they'll do. But we got a lot of good looks there. We got looks at what the Joy-Con's going to be looking like. We got a look at some of the accessory, or at least one of the accessories, with assumably more accessories to come. The dock has also been updated with new like fan technology to keep the thing cool, which is a big deal. And the dock also upreses it now to 4K, which is a big deal. I was also surprised it didn't come with an OLED screen. So that was big news. But yeah, I think that's everything.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not? You don't think they would come with OLED?
Nope.
I thought they were going to do it.
So the reason why is because before we knew anything about this, there were like teleleaks, and this was one of the things I knew about were like the hardware stuff. Like them go instead of doing OLED, they would switch to LCD. They would do 120, 4K, then the mouse controls.
Yeah. I mean, didn't know they were going to do it, but I just wonder why.
Right.
Like, what was the reason they didn't go with OLED over LCD? I guess maybe they had a bad experience with their like Nintendo SWOLED. Maybe they didn't like it, or maybe it was more expensive, or I don't know. But you would think the OLED with like the true black technology or whatever, where it gets the screens like perfectly dark, it would be the preferred method. So go figure. We did also, anything else console hardware wise that you wanted to call out? Lizzie likes the mouse in the chat mode.
Yeah, the chat mode was nice. But another thing that I was absolutely excited for was Kirby Air Riders. I cried tears of joy.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We got a lot of surprising games. So some of the new games announced, like you just said, Kirby Air Ride was one of the big ones. We also got a real look at Mario Kart instead of just learning that Mario Kart was coming. It's called Mario Kart World.
That's awesome.
And it has a lot of new mechanics. I'm very excited. I always wondered if they were going to call it Mario Kart 9 or if they were going to do something different with it, but Mario Kart World is fine. It's an open world version of Mario Kart, which is different. But, I'm not going to hate. I think it'll be fun. And I do really like the new mechanics and the things they're bringing, such as a lot more vehicle modes, the ability to grind on the walls, on rails, the ability to be able to play like a new mode where it's like a knockout elimination rounds and like a battle royale kind of, instead of just doing purely the same race every single time. Also a ton more characters. And silly ones. Like you can be the snowman or you can be the cow. And it's like, why? But sure,
Or the penguins from Mario 64.
Sure. Like if we're going to do it, let's go all the way, I suppose. We'll get another look at that on April 17th. So if you are curious about Mario Kart World, we'll get a whole direct coming up in a little bit. I realized we didn't even mention yet. The Switch itself is coming out June 5th. So right around the corner, we have not much time left until we get that Switch in our hands. And they are also doing pre-orders starting next week. So next Wednesday, I think, is whenever pre-orders start. And it seems to be a pretty daunting process. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're trying to avoid scalpers. I'm not going to lie. I kind of think the price is already prohibitive for scalpers, but what do I know? I guess that didn't necessarily stop people with the PS5, but I feel like the issue with the PS5 wasn't it like a chip? And so I don't know if it was scalping that was the real issue there, but
yeah, it was more so the chip than scalpers.
Yeah, I feel like for a confirmed price now of $450 for the console itself, or $500 even for the Mario Kart World bundle, which is an $80 game. That's pretty good. That's a pretty
Yeah.
good deal to get $30 off to get the full kit. So I'll be trying to get the full kit for sure. I know I'll be playing Mario Kart. There's no doubt in my mind. I love Mario Kart. And
Yep.
so June 5th will be the day that I will shoot for getting it and hopefully getting the pre-order so that it'll arrive in time. But it is quite the process. I have been a subscriber of Nintendo Switch Online for more than 2 years, so I think I fit the criteria, but I am a little bit anxious about it. Like I sure hope that I fit the
Yeah.
criteria, but I have had every account and I've even used their little gold points, like their little silver points on the Nintendo
Yep.
website. So like I'm a Nintendo boy. Like I should be getting the check marks that I need to be a legitimate person. If they need me to take a captcha, I'll take a captcha. I will match up Mario's head to his body or do one of the 3 lines where it's like a mushroom on top, a star on the bottom. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll match it up if they need me to prove that I am indeed a Nintendo fan. I am not a scalper and it is mine, all mine. Let's see. What else did we see? Oh, big surprise of the night was everybody was really expecting, or at least I was really expecting, the next 3D Mario. I was expecting something from that, but instead of the latest 3D Mario, we got a new Donkey Kong 3D game. So a new 3D platformer, Donkey Kong Bonanza, the first 3D Donkey Kong game that I can think of in forever. I can't remember the last one. They've all been 2D.
This is the first one.
Yeah, so this is a huge deal. It doesn't look like they're doing the whole DK crew, so we might not be getting a rap from Grant, whatever his name is.
Grant
But
Kirkrow.
yeah, so we won't be getting a rap from him probably, but maybe we will. Maybe that's going to be the big surprise, is that we'll be getting the DK64 vibe back. But I'm not holding my breath for that one too much.
But yeah, this was a game I also had heard rumors about. So I was actually a bit surprised to see that this year. And
I
as
knew
for
nothing.
someone who's not a fan of the DK series, I'm actually very interested in this.
Yeah, it looks super fun. I'm really not a big Mario fan. Like I like the 3D platformers, okay, but I loved Donkey Kong. I loved Banjo, and like that era of Rareware games is like some of my favorite games. And so
Yes,
I'm super down. I'm down to try. I think the new like redesign of Donkey Kong is fun. He has pants now, um, which is a
it's
Digimon.
clearly using the design from the movie.
That was a Digimon quote for anybody that doesn't get the reference there, but he has pants now. Is a great quote. Digimon movie, go watch it. If you haven't seen it in a while, even if you haven't seen it in like a week, go watch it again because it's the greatest movie ever made. Big surprise of the night as well was they announced their own kind of Astrobot competitor where they were going to be doing a tour of the system, which is the original premise of Astrobot for those of you that have only ever played the like main game. Originally, Astrobot was designed for the PlayStation as a way that you could explore all of the mechanics of the thing. You could learn what does what inside the controller, inside the console, all that kind of stuff, and then collect things within the world. Nintendo announced their welcome tour, and it's going to cost money. It's a paid digital title, which I think is
Which is weird.
wild. That's so wild. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know why they would do that. I remember the days whenever consoles would just come with a free game. They wouldn't be marked up. They would just have a free game baked into them. So
Hmm.
I think this whole thing is very strange. It's very strange that their hardware show off thing is going to cost money. I don't know what they're thinking there. Very, very weird move. Even like, I would even think it's more reasonable to make it with Switch Online. I don't like that,
I agree.
but that would be more reasonable than just making it a whole other thing. And maybe they will. Maybe they'll make it a part of online or a paid digital title. But I think that's a very, very strange move for them, and I don't know what they're getting at with that one. That was a bizarre call that they probably should rethink.
Hmm.
Also very exciting for fans of From Software, of course, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, Dark Souls. We're going to be getting our own From Software game on the Switch, and an exclusive coming in 2026 called The Dusk Bloods, which I think is a bad name. But it is a game that we're getting, and it looks like Bloodborne. I thought for sure it was Bloodborne whenever I saw the trailer. But alas,
I don't blame you for thinking that.
it's just a cool new game. I don't know if we know much about
Yeah.
it, but I think it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I don't play them, I watch them, but I enjoy watching them, and I know my brother is very excited about this.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to giving it a try. It looks more co-op-y than most From Software games, and
Uh,
so that has me kind of
so
curious.
apparently there has been details released. Apparently it's PvPE, I think. That's what I saw.
Yeah. Yep. So that was big news. Some other big games. We did get another Hyrule Warriors game, much to my chagrin.
Very
Uh,
excited for
I can't
this.
believe we're getting another Warriors game. I can't stand them. But now we officially have a trilogy of Zelda games with Hyrule Warriors. Uh, sure,
It's
people
clear
are
that this
excited.
was
I don't want to poo poo on it
yeah.
too much,
It,
you know. I
that's
definitely
fine.
think. Go ahead.
I know that you're not a fan of them, and I can understand it. Hack and slash games aren't for everyone. That said, this definitely feels like something that honestly could have been used as DLC in Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm. Yeah, but I
At
guess the
least from what we're
precedent's already been
seeing.
set, hasn't it, for Warriors games? I mean, they kind of come out with them anyway. So
True.
if they'd done them as a DLC before, I would say yeah, but they want to make them their own thing, and they have good stories. There's no doubt about that. And so I
Oh,
think that
absolutely.
it's going to
They,
have its own story. It's going to have its own thing. We get to see more about what happened to Zelda whenever she was in the past from Tears of the Kingdom. So spoilers, I guess, for Tears of the Kingdom. Sorry, but we're going to get more of that to get to see more of what's going on in that world. Get to see more of King Rauru. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to watching someone else play it because I'm not about to play a Warriors game, but it'll be a good time. More exciting to me and blew my mind. I could not believe it. I was not expecting this. Fans of Undertale and Toby Fox have been waiting forever for Deltarune to get some kind of
yes.
announcements, to get anything, a tease, anything at all. And of all the places that we find out when it's going to be releasing chapters 3 and 4 is during the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. Crazy. Huge. Toby Fox is an
That
indie
was
game
yes.
dev, and he is on the Nintendo Switch 2. He is a headliner on the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out on launch day, June 5th, with chapters 3 and 4. Humongous. Biggest news ever. I can't believe it. I'm so proud of him. I'm so excited for him. That's huge. Flummoxed.
It is huge.
And then we
I
got
can't
a.
wait to see what he has in store for us.
Go ahead.
I can't wait to see what he has in store for us.
I know and they've all ended on such cliffhangers. So I'm very excited to finally have some kind of resolution. I'm gonna have to go back and play them. I'm not gonna lie. I remember them enough, but I feel like it's been a good chunk of time, especially since I played the first one. So maybe we'll stream them. Maybe we'll go back and stream them because I think that they're definitely great games. I really enjoyed them, and I need to remind myself all the things before I get back into 3 and 4. So maybe we'll just do a straight binge through all of it, experience it, be fun. Okay, that's pretty much all the big ones that I have. Now we can just kind of, if you think of any of the like stinger reel that you wanted to highlight, then we can kind of wrap this up with some of the games that are going to be coming to the Switch 2 that are, not a mainline game, just kind of a developer party, third party game. Any standout for you?
Uh, yes, the fact that we saw Silk Song at all.
Yeah, I'm still the skeptic. We'll see. We'll see if we actually get it this year. A tweet resurfaced of the Xbox, whatever they used to call them. They weren't directs, but whatever they called the Xbox things, where they were like, all of the games will be coming out in the next year, and Silksong was in the stinger. And somebody tweeted at them and was like, "So you're saying Silksong is coming out this year?" And they were like, "That's exactly what we're saying." And that tweet is from 2022. Like 3 years later, and we still don't have it. So they were just dead wrong. Yeah. It is something. I cannot believe how long it's taken for this game. I'm not the biggest fan of Hollow Knight. I enjoyed the game, but it's definitely like not as peak as everybody makes it out to be for me. So I'll play Silksong for sure, but I'm not like chomping at the bit for it in quite the same way. So I sure hope it comes out this year. For the sake of all of my indie dev fans out there, I want that game to come out this year for y'all's sakes. And then they'll start working on the next game. And we'll see that one in 2045. I was excited. I love James Bond, and I am a big fan of like GoldenEye. But every time they've remade any of the James Bond games, they have just been kind of like middling or just kind of just awash in nostalgia and not actually as fun as I remember them to be. With the exception of throwing Odd Jobs hat, that's still a riveting time. But other than that, like they've not really held up very well. But we are getting a new 007 game called Project 007 for the time being. I think that's probably a placeholder name. But it's being made by IO Interactive, which are the people behind Hitman, which are fantastic spy games, like espionage games. So I think it makes so much sense. I am super duper excited to give that one a try and to see what they're able to come up with. I think in fleshing Hitman and even more of a story, and a little bit more of the like actual espionage part of it instead of just the assassination part of it, that just sounds perfect. And I will soak that up. I will play every minute of that. So that is one that I'm super excited for. We didn't get any kind of like date or supposed time for it, I don't think, but I think it'll be a real fun time whenever it actually does drop.
Third party game that I was excited to see there was Remake and Rebirth. It sucks though that the stream had to crash just
Yeah.
when it was getting revealed.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal, and a lot of games that are more hardware intensive are coming to this one. So that's one that like the remake intergrade, that's a big deal. Getting to see like even Hogwarts Legacy is pretty intensive, and Cyberpunk, like real ones remember, right? Like launch day for Cyberpunk where it couldn't run on the PlayStation 5. Like they couldn't run on the peak performance machines. And now it's going to be running on the Switch too. Like that's granted it's been some years, but still that's a really big deal. And that's very cool to see them taking it to the next level there. Hitman, obviously, I mean, a pretty intensive game. And then we've got the new Borderlands game is going to be pretty intensive. Like all of that. And the fact that they're going to be running on this console shows that they're at least taking it more seriously and stepping up the notch a little bit. Which really makes me jealous of people that are going to be playing games that I've already played on Switch 1, but doing the upgraded version. Like I'm a little bit jealous of people that'll get to experience a more beautiful Pokemon than what I had to look at. But I don't mind too much. I don't mind graphics, but it is going to be cool to see something that is just the next step towards a realized console. Any other games that stood out to you there? Did you see before we wrap this up?
No, not really. I can't seem to think of any. Other than like the other than seeing confirmation of Prime 4 and Legends being cross-platform, which was no surprise.
Yeah, no surprise there. We got another, we kind of already got a look at them last week. And so those maybe like were a little bit underwhelming for me just because it was like, we got the news. And it definitely feels like Nintendo knew what they were doing because they were probably aware that like this Direct was already stacked. And to add on those two things would have just made this one almost too much, a little bit overwhelming. So I think they made a good choice. We never mentioned that Air Riders is the new Air Ride that is, you mentioned it, but we did not mention that it is being developed by Sakurai, Super Smash Brothers director.
Yes, I know.
OG Kirby
it's
developer.
It's such a new game.
It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And I am so excited to get to play more of this game. They sure better do the city mode because if they don't, that is the reason that I played Air Ride.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I need it again. I don't like the races in Air Ride. For those of you that never played Air Ride, the races are fine. they're nothing to like write home about. They're good at best. But that city mode, no game has ever matched it since. Like there is nothing that has ever even tried to do the same thing that they did in that one. It was like a battle royale before battle royales were cool. And it's real fun. And I cannot wait for them to hopefully unveil that again or even take it to the next level. I hope we don't have a new Pokemon Snap situation because I want it to be actually fun. But we'll see. We'll see when we get there. So that is everything that I had for the Switch 2, and it sounds like we are good to wrap up and move on into our next segment. But do let us know if you had any thoughts about the Nintendo Switch 2, things that we didn't mention, things that you're excited about that did not get dropped. Maybe you're looking forward to something to do with the new mouse technology or some of the new accessories or the game chat mode. We'd love to hear about those kind of things in the chat or in the comments down below. But without further ado, we're going to get into everybody's favorite segment of the show, which is, of course, Cryptic Critique. That's right. It's time for everyone's favorite game, Cryptic Critiques. This is the game show of bad reviews for beloved games. I have scoured the internet to find the funniest bad reviews I could for popular games. I'll deliver them one at a time to our special guest of the week, DGC. Play along with us. See if you can figure it out before we get to clue number 3. But if you're watching live, do not send your guesses until the guest gets to give their final choice at the end of the third prompt. DGC, are you prepared?
Yes.
Are you here for redemption after last week? Let's get that dub. Yeah. All right. First prompt. I loved this as a kid. It was definitely super terrible. I loved this as a kid. It was definitely super terrible.
Okay, let's move on to the second prompt.
All right. Framed a little bit of the time period, maybe. 5 out of 10. Cat's better.
What? Can you repeat that?
5 out of 10. Cat's better.
Oh, I think I know what this is.
Let's see if number 3 cements it. I played this when I had 3 real dogs I could have been playing with in real life at literally any point.
It's the 10 dogs.
It is indeed Nintendogs. Chats in the clap. You got it. Yeah, Nintendogs is a nostalgic game. And that's probably all we need to say about it. It is pure nostalgia.
It was one of the games.
And not much more.
Like when it was one of the games that I definitely bought, like when the 3DS came out with the Nintendo Dogs and Cats. And that was like back when there wasn't that much out. But it was enjoyable. It was nice to have.
Yeah, I could not figure out how to whittle in any of the reviews that kept talking about the fact that, like, no doubt my dogs are dead. Like, everybody kept saying that. They were like, it's been so long since I've played this game, I haven't even turned it on. All my dogs are dead. I wanted to fit it in, but I couldn't think of how. But yeah, a very common sentiment. And there was one kind reviewer that said that they would tell everyone's Nintendogs that they were doing okay, and that was very sweet. A very all dogs go to heaven moment, and that they didn't forget them. They just moved on. So there you go. That has been Cryptic Critiques, everybody's favorite segment. Did you get it out there in chat world? You've got some chats in the clap there from Drew and Lizzie. I'd love to know, did anybody else nail that one as well? Did you get it before we got to the final prompt there? When did you get it? Let us know. I would love to hear. But without further ado, we're going to be getting into our next segment of the show, which is, of course, that's right. It is upcoming games. We're going to be talking about 3 things that are coming in the near future. Looking at games, movies, any of the things that are going on. The first one for DGC. Take it away.
So the first thing I'm excited about is the final season of Fire Force will be dropping on April 5th.
I've never watched it. I've never read it. For how much I love Soul Eater, you would think that I would pick this one up, but I never have. It just doesn't have the same
enjoyable.
vibes. Like, Soul Eater felt so its own thing, and then this one just feels so shonen. But maybe I'm just judging it harshly and I don't need to. Like, it feels like Black Clover. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like very, very shonen feeling, but.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually kind of that vibe. I like Soul Eater was so its own thing and totally out of left field and like weird and different. And this one just feels like, I don't know, not run of the mill, but just shonen. It's just shonen through and through. So I will eventually watch it. And I'm glad to know this is the final season. That entices me even more to actually watch it so that I can just burn through it and be done. That'll be a good time. The next game, or the first upcoming one for me, is one that I'm mad about because I am not an Apple stan. I do not have an iPhone. I do not like Apple. I have many things to say, but Apple Arcade is getting an exclusive, Katamari Damacy Rolling Live. Roll, stick, and grow. Enjoy this easy, addictive game by just rolling. Stick everything from tiny trinkets to huge objects. Watch your Katamari grow. Complete the king's objectives and turn your Katamari into a beautiful star that lights up the night sky. I'm very jealous of the fact that you are getting on the iPhone world an exclusive Katamari Damacy game. I am a big fan of this series. I love the music. I love the vibes. I love everything about it. And I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it at all. Not one bit. So maybe I'll get my wife to download it. I'll get her to play Apple Arcade for like a day. We'll get a month subscription just so that I can play this because I desperately want to experience this game. I don't know if you have any love for this franchise or not, DGC, but it is one that is very dear to my heart.
I'm not familiar with this series. I mean, I've heard of it, but I never played it.
The weirdest vibes. It's just one of the strangest games ever that anybody will ever play. The guy with the big head there, that is the like Lord of the Universe, the Emperor of the Universe, the king guy, and he speaks in record scratches, and it's just weird. It's just weird. It's just a weird vibe in all the ways, and the music is chef's kiss. So we'll see. We'll see if it does well at all. I feel like there actually has been a Katamari phone game, and it didn't do very well. So I don't know if this one's going to be different, better, whatever. I'm not bitter. Let's go to your second one, DGC.
This one I'm very excited about, as the spinoff to My Hero Academia, My Hero Vigilantes, will be premiering on April 7th.
I've always seen the manga and thought about reading it, but never picked it up. So I'm looking forward to giving it a try.
I had read the manga, but I had stopped at some point. I I was a fan of My Hero Academia, but it got to the point where I just ended up having to stop. But I really did enjoy Vigilantes.
Yeah,
And
I think
I've seen the hero, it's so good.
My Hero for me lost the plot of how to write villains. Like they somewhere along the way they had too many characters, and it was hard to even differentiate between who was a villain and a good villain, a bad villain, who was a real hero, a not interesting hero. Like there was just too much. It was too many characters in too many places. Whereas like I think that what they were trying to emulate in the form of like a Dragon Ball or of a like stereotypical superhero shonen, like you really need the core team. And we never really had. Like what was it, class 2A or 1A or whatever it was? We never really had them
1A.
1A. We never really had them truly vibe. You had the like all stars, but then there were some that were just B League and they were never interesting. Like it would have been like if Justice League Unlimited never focused on the main seven and just always kind of like allowed the others to run in the background. So yeah, this one I'm curious because it looks like a smaller cast, but I could just be misreading it 100%.
From what I've read, yeah, it seems to be like focused on like a few characters, but I don't know if that's still the case later on.
You know what? I have a way better reference. Instead of Dragon Ball, I think that My Hero could have been better if it had gone more like Assassination Classroom. Like if they had
Yes!
if they had
Yes!
more of a centralized Koro Sensei that was like guiding them, like All Might was supposed to be, but if they'd actually had that like central figure and then the adventures happen around it, that would have been so much better. So much more focused, you know? So yeah, that's my vibe, but I will definitely be giving Vigilantes a try. I'm super curious about it. And I love the action in My Hero, so there's no doubt this one's going to go right alongside it. My second one is one that's already been mentioned tonight, but I'm very excited about South of Midnight, an upcoming action-adventure game from Compulsion Games. Explore the mythos and confront mysterious creatures of the Deep South in this modern folktale while learning to weave an ancient power to surmount obstacles and unravel your family's hidden past. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for some time in the bayou. All right, let's go with your third pick here, DGC.
All right, my last one is another anime. It's called Food for the Soul, and it'll be premiering on April 12th.
I've never heard of this one
because it looked like neither did I until I looked at it recently. It seemed very interesting because it seemed like a nice, cozy, fun time. I mean, I'm always down for food anime.
Sure. Does it look silly? Is it going to be like Bochi vibes?
It seems like more of like a cozy vibe.
Curious. I wonder where is it coming to Crunchyroll? Do you know?
Yes, it is.
Crunchy. Okay. I do like food. My most recent, I really liked Bartender Glass of God, and so that was one that definitely like piqued my interest, and it's like food adjacent. But I don't know. We shall see. The schoolgirl vibes of it all. The last one I watched that would have been probably a Bochi, or maybe a Licorice. But Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to give it a try. Yeah, indeed. Lizzie called you out. They think you might like anime just a little bit. You might be a fan.
Well, aren't really that many games I was particularly interested in, and the, until like the latter part of April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In all fairness, we did catch you at the start of Anime April. Like it is the new start of the spring season of anime. So all of them
That
are
is
coming out
true.
in the next 2 weeks. It was certainly a wide swath of choice. My third one
Hmm.
is, I feel a little guilty putting this on here, but I've said it once. I'll say it again. If it's a video game or superhero movie on the silver screen, I will go see it. I'm going to be watching the Minecraft movie. And I'm looking forward to it, even if it is terrible, even if it's just a real bad movie. I'm just excited. I love Jables. I'm a big fan of pretty much everything that he does, and I think it looks silly and ridiculous and memey and poorly written, and also a blast. I think it looks so fun. I have no real Minecraft connection other than playing it here at Checkpoint. But I'm thinking it's going to be a so bad it's good situation. I hope that it's a so bad it's good situation. I want it to be a Sonic 1 situation where it was like not really like found its footing and then a wound up going to a better place. But even if it's just this one, and even if it's just bad, I will still enjoy seeing it. It didn't get a 2 on IGN, so it can't be that bad. Any thoughts on this one, DGC? Lizzie's ashamed.
uh, I'll probably be giving this a pass,
Yeah.
mostly because I could never get into Minecraft. I was never interested in it, and the trailer for this is eh.
Yeah. I'm very worried about not getting the references. I wonder how niche they're going to be going with their jokes and their goofs, because like with a Sonic, right? Like there could be something in the background that I will do the Leonardo DiCaprio point at that like nobody else would understand. Whereas with Minecraft, I won't get it. Like I won't really get the niche sub niche jokes. I almost need to bring along like a Splash or a Chris to watch this movie with me and kindly be my lore Bible whenever I need it, because I have no clue. But I will be seeing it. I will be giving it a try. And if it has any meat on its bones at all, you better believe I will be writing a nerdy sermon on it, because it is fodder. It is pure fodder. And I got to get that. I got to get that attention of the internet in our direction. So hopefully it has some kind of moral grounding so that I can relate it to the Bible in some way, shape, or form and find some of that kernel of Holy Spirit happening within it, because I need to talk about it. But alas, those have been our 3 things. If you have any things that you have been excited for, be sure to let us know. Drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments. Tell us what you have been excited about. Tell us how it was even. And without further ado, we're getting into our final segment of the show, which is, of course, it's right. It's time for our meme of the week. Our meme of the week this week comes from Lizzie in the chat. This one in particular is, "This is me in an attempt to beat Nate for meme of the week." It's a goose saying, "I think I will cause problems on purpose." Will it work? No, but I tried. Well, Lizzie, I got news for you. It worked. You wound up winning. You got the meme of the week. You have dethroned me. Thank goodness that I did not win again this week,
Yes,
because I cannot take the memes any further. This is
it
inside
kind of
joke
reminded me of
amongst
Child
inside
Goose.
jokes. But yeah, the goose did succeed. And got a good goof. I do think that I will make a quick plea to anybody in the chat or watching the VOD after the fact. If you would like to be considered for meme of the week, go use our Memes and Goofs channel. Our Memes and Goofs channel is drying up. I've noticed it has not been posted to as regularly recently. So post some memes, engage in that space. If you get the most reactions on your meme, you could be featured on Meme of the Week next week. But be sure to go utilize it, because the secret reason of why I normally am the one that ends up winning Meme of the Week is because I'm the one that posts memes the most. But I don't want to be that. I want other people to post them. So I want you to win Meme of the Week. Please do it. And that is the way to do it. With that wraps up our show as we get into the closing segment here. DGC, it is time for your shout out. Anything you want to shout out this week?
Yes, if you haven't already, please go check out the Everhood Pilgrimage.
Yeah, we finished episode 2, leg 2 of the pilgrimage this afternoon, and tomorrow we'll be starting leg 3, maybe finishing. I'm not sure. It really depends on just how quickly I'm able to get through that last little chunk of the game. But we'll probably be going into next week. If I had to take the old guess at it, it'll probably go into next week. But it is a very, very good game. We've gotten to the real meat and potatoes of the experience, and I think it's been a lot of fun. Appreciate that shout out and appreciate you being on the show, DGC. Thanks so much. Chats in the clap for our special guest of the week. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate all of you as well being in the chat. This has been Twig, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show delivered live on twitch.tv/checkpointchurch and youtube.com/checkpointchurch each and every week, keeping your family connected to the world of nerdy news. If you watched this far, you probably enjoyed this one. So remember, give us a 5-star on your podcast app. Click that like button. Recommend the show to all of your favorite nerds. Folks, we appreciate everybody that supports the show with their comments, with their likes, with their shares, with everything, watching along, any of those sorts of things. But we want to give an extra special thank you to those that also support us monetarily with a subscription on Twitch or with a membership over on YouTube or both. So thank you to our Twitch subscribers, Tini Christina P, to Another Scribbler, Gobi Church, DGC 121996, Sando Calrissian, Coyote 42, Mindful Marlena, Perspective, Trombone Dalek, Buish, Wise and Lemur, Resonant Catholic 2192, Babe 30 Bat, Sneaky Pigs 633, our YouTube member Leanne, and then our both YouTube and Twitch, Twilight 27 and Nerd Pastor Nate. With that, is there going to be Twig next week? Yes, indeed there will. We'll be back with more Twig next week, I think with special guest David Petty, if I'm not mistaken. It may be the one after that is special guest David Petty, but we'll be getting a wonderful time with him of Crossfire Faith Plus Gaming. A lot of exciting stuff going on. Talking about their camp and some of the cool things they've got in their neck of the woods. But as we wrap this one up, we are really a church. I'm really a pastor, and we believe 3 things to be true about you. Whether you believe in God, whether you don't believe in God, whether you go to church, don't go to church, hate God, hate church, none of those things change these 3 things that we believe to be true about you. Number 1, that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here. And number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You're a person of sacred worth. The world's a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time that I see you, whether it be for our pilgrimage tomorrow, whether it be for this episode of Twig next week, or whether it be for any of our other things that we got going on Discord or YouTube or Twitch or any of the spaces that we are, I look forward to seeing you then. Till next time,